morning, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these charges. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the State Attorney's Office can prove the charges against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? I'll get him. All right, very good. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Kendra Thomas. Morning, Ms. Thomas. What's your date of birth?
5/25/1971.
All right, Kendra, I got two charges today. I got a retail theft and resisting without. There's probable cause for those charges. As for those charges, do you wish to represent yourself? You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State, what can you tell me?
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history.
All right. And Kendra, I got an address for you on Champion Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been there?
About 2 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Disabled, sir.
Okay. All right, Kendra, I'm going to set your bond at $500 on each count. Your total is $1,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 6th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
Excuse me, sir. For a cup of coffee that I couldn't pay for, they got it for a cup of coffee.
Well, it'll be easy to prove now. Thank you.
You just admitted.
Kenneth Cole. Morning, Ken. What's your date of birth?
3/12/66.
This morning I have a warrant for you out of Monroe County. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation. And then set the bond on the warrant at no bond. I can't change the bond on that warrant. So we'll let the folks in Monroe County know that you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to make arrangements to come pick you up. If they haven't arranged to pick you up within 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Kane and Cook. Morning, Mr. Cook. What's your date of birth?
4/30/93.
Mr. Cook, this morning the charge is driving under the influence. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history.
And Mr. Cook, I have an address for you on Waxweed Avenue in Shady Hills. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
I want to say I moved there around, my goodness, it's,
Just looking for an estimate, Mr. Cook.
of course, say around 7 to 8 months.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm I'm a custodian at Beta Point Middle School.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $500. I'm going to have you back in court on the 6th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jerome Lewandowski. Morning, Jerome. What's your date of birth?
3571.
Jerome, I have a warrant for you out of Citrus County. The judge that, apparently the judge that was Judge Howard who signed the warrant, believes that you failed to appear in his court. He set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We'll let the folks in Citrus know that you're here and ready to go. Give them 5 days to come get you. It does not take 5 with Citrus. For some strange reason, you're still here. In 5, they'll bring you back to see me, all right?
All right, thank you, sir.
Daniel McKenna. Morning, Daniel. What's your date of birth?
Good morning, sir.
What's your date?
6/25/1960.
Very good. Daniel, I got 2 charges this morning. I have a battery being domestic in nature and a witness tampering. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, what is witness tampering?
In here, the allegation is that you damaged the phone so that it couldn't be used to call 911. And state any history.
Your Honor, I'm showing a Hernando DUI that is in 2017 without a disposition. I'm not sure if it's an open case.
He's on probation now, sir.
Oh, there you go. There's your answer. Anything else?
And then I'm seeing out-of-state history, criminal conspiracy, and aggravated assault, disorderly conduct in 1980, a larceny from a building in 1989, and driving with a license suspended in 97. And other than that, Your Honor, there's no history. That's out of Pennsylvania.
Okay. And Mr. McKenna, I have an address for you on Meredith Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
That's correct.
I'll tell you what, Daniel, if you will not lean into the microphone when you answer, I'll be able to hear your answers, okay?
Oh, sorry.
So what was the answer about Meredith Drive?
That's correct. That is where I live.
Okay. How long have you been there?
A year and a half.
And does Karen live there as well?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
I'm on disability.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 on each count. That's a total of $2,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Karen. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that
Yes, sir.
she cannot drop the charges against you. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped, and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you today up until 4 p.m., so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. Additionally, in your case, Daniel, it appears that you're on probation right now for a DUI. That means that sometime later today or tomorrow, they're going to swear out a warrant for a violation of probation because you picked up new criminal charges. The bond on that warrant will be no bond. So if you spend money getting out on these charges, you're going to lose that money because you're going to get rearrested later this week on the VOP. I'm not telling you you can't bond out. I'm just telling you that so that you understand that if you do bond out, you're going to get rearrested later this week for the VOP. I'm going to have you back in court on the 9th of April. As far as the house on Meredith Drive goes, if you do get out and Karen is still staying there, you'll have to stay somewhere else. You can go by one time to collect your things, your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. However, to accomplish that, you need to contact the sheriff's office first. They'd meet you there with a deputy who'd stand by while you picked up your things and got going where you're
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Terry Modlin. Morning, Terry. What's
How you
your
doing,
date of
sir?
birth? Good.
9/27/75, sir.
Terry, I got 2 warrants that were both signed by Judge Merritt. In each case, he found probable cause for a burglary. Well, one is a burglary of a conveyance and a grand theft. The other is a commercial burglary and a grand theft. And then I have 2 counts of violation of a domestic violence injunction. There's probable cause for those. So I've got probable cause all the way around. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
A public defender.
Very good. I'll appoint the PD. State what you need to.
The state would be asking for a higher bond in this case due to there being, he's a transient, he doesn't have ties to the community. And
Tell me about his history before you make an argument for
yes,
a higher bond.
there's, for violence, there's a burglary with there's a DV battery, burglary with a dwelling, a tampering of evidence, and charges of threat, and there is theft, there's grand theft, there is a counterfeit charge, and stealing of stolen property. Then there's also FTA references, violation of probation, flee and elude, and he's been to DOC prison 3 times.
Sir, if I might add in there, I haven't been arrested in over 5 years.
Okay. How long have you been out of prison?
That's not true.
Well over about 5 years, sir.
Okay.
He was arrested in 2000.
I actually haven't been arrested since 2008.
He was arrested in 2015 in North Carolina.
I haven't been in any trouble since 2013. That's when I came home.
State's telling me you were arrested in North Carolina in 2015. Or were you just talking about Florida?
Oh, no, I was talking about Florida.
Well, we all tend to remember things in the best light to us.
If I could, I'd like to resolve the case of the day and just get on with my life.
Terry, there's no way that can happen. You got felony charges here, and I can't take care of those at first appearance.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The DV cases are DV cases, and I can't take care of those at first appearance. So, I don't have an address for you. Where you been staying lately?
438 Copperfield.
And how long have you been there?
Since I got the injunction for 6130 Broad Street.
Okay, I don't know when that was. How long have you been at the Copperfield address?
Maybe a month.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I work for Midwestern Construction.
Okay. On the 2 warrant cases, each with a burglary and a grand theft, I'll set the bond at $5,000 on each of the 4 counts. That's a total of $20,000. Those are coming back April 9th. On the 2 injunction cases, I'll set the bond on each of those at $1,000. So your total all the way around, Terry, is $22,000. The injunction cases, condition of those bonds is that you have no contact with Heather. You heard me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Those are coming back on the 6th of April. If you get out, you should contact the public defender right away. If you don't get out, they'll come see you at the jail, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Probus. sir, what's your date of birth?
2597.
Joe, I've got 3 charges this morning: possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD. State.
I'm not showing any history.
And Joe, where you been staying lately?
Oh, one more time, sir.
Where have you been staying lately?
The address is 15332 Peach Bloom Road. That's in Brooksville.
Okay. How long have you been there?
For the last 2 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yeah, I do. Construction.
Set your bond at $500 on each count. That's a total of $1,500. I'll have you back in court on the 9th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
All right. Thank you.
George Sykes.
Good morning.
Morning, George. What's your date of birth?
10474.
George, the charge is burglary of a dwelling. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. Going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Point to PD. State.
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history for the defendant.
And George, I've got an address for you on McKeithen Road in Ridge Manor. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Just for about a month. Before that, I was right around the corner.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm an installer.
Okay. What do you install?
Steel.
Okay. I'll set your bond, George, at $2,000. We'll have you back in court on the 9th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. John Williams. Or Mr. Williams, daylight saving time must have got the best of you, huh? Raise your right hand for me. Solemnly swear, affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good. What's your date of birth?
1995.
Charge is resisting without violence. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
And state any history.
Your Honor, I'm showing several cases in Charlotte County that are recent without a disposition. Not sure if he's on probation or if he is, if they're still open. It is a violation of a pretrial release, criminal mischief, and a battery. No disposition on all those counts. And then I have that's the only other history that I have, Your Honor, besides some dropped charges and arrests.
And sir, I've got an address for you on Roosevelt Street in Englewood. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
All my life.
Do you have a job these days?
No.
Leave the bond at $1,000. We'll have you back in court on the 6th of April. Make sure you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right? Jason Smith. Morning, Mr. Smith. What's your date of birth?
52682.
Smith, I have 2 charges this morning: trafficking in MDMA and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. Can I hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll point the PD. State.
I'm showing a failure to appear reference out of Hernando County in 2016. Possession of controlled substance, disposition guilty in 2016 out of Hernando County. Disposition guilty in 2015 for a violation of pretrial release out of Pasco County. A fleet, a law enforcement officer 2016, disposition guilty, and a probation violation reference out of Pasco County in 2015. Another probation violation reference in Hernando County in 2015. A possession of marijuana, less than 20, adjudication of guilt in 2013, and a possession of controlled substance, disposition guilt, both out of Hernando County. A unarmed burglary of an unoccupied structure, conveyance, disposition guilty in 2013, out of Hernando County. possession of cocaine, 2006, disposition guilty, possession of meth with intent to sell, disposition guilty in 2006. In 2005, disposition guilty, possession of paraphernalia in Hernando County, possession of paraphernalia in 2005, disposition guilty, possession of cocaine with the intent to sell, disposition guilty, both out of 2005 out of Hernando County.
That's good. Thanks, man. Jason, you got an address these days?
So I just got out of rehab last Wednesday.
Okay.
Can I talk to you real quick? I was told to talk to you this morning. Last night after we got arrested and the charges were put, I mean, this shit was found, sorry, cuss, but this stuff was found in his car, not in my possession.
Oh, okay.
His car,
Jason.
But I admitted to it last night.
Jason, stop talking. Stop talking. Okay, listen. Okay, whatever those issues are, the public defender is the one that you want to talk to about those issues. Okay, and this is a possession case. There's lots of interesting issues in these cases, and the PD will talk to you about them. But you shouldn't talk to them about them here because you don't have his advice yet, and you're under oath, and anything you say can and will be used against you, as I mentioned when we started. Okay? Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Yes. My Bright Future Electric. I'm a low voltage electrician.
Okay.
In Sarasota.
I'm going to leave your bonds prison schedule, which is $25,000 on the X and $1,000 on the resisting. That's a total of $26,000. I'll have you back in court on April 9th. If you get out, you should contact the PD right away. Otherwise, they'll come see you at the jail. All right?
All right.
Thank you. Timothy Hunt.
Judge, this is
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Tim.
this is an add-on
Right.
plea
Right.
on 17 MM 4594.
Right.
Some battery charges. I believe there's 3 of them. He was sentenced just last week to 30 months in the Department of Corrections on his 2 felony cases. Currently, he has 254 days time served. We'd ask for a time served disposition with no coin.
And state the objection.
Your Honor, we're not going to resolve this without talking to the victim, without doing 1129.
Judge, he's doing 30 months.
Doing 30 months.
In the state prison.
Okay.
We'll do an open plea, ask for the 254 time served.
Yeah. Get him out of here. Tim, raise your right hand. Solemnly swear firm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir, I do.
State your name.
Timothy Hunt.
Tim, you understand by any pleas to these charges, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. Do you want to give up those rights so we can resolve these charges today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 17MM4594 as to the 3 counts of battery. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
I'll plead no contest,
I'll
Your
accept
Honor.
those pleas, find they're freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count. Sentence you to 254 days in the county jail on each count. Credit 254 served on each count. Your fining court costs on count 1 of $830. The total on all 3 will be $1,710. I will not order costs of incarceration. I would have got that in circuit court. That takes care of the misdemeanor, Tim. You're now free to go wherever you need to go next, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck.